Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Charted. I'm your girl, Lexi Forbes, coming at you live here on Instagram. And I'm super excited because today we are going to be looking at another celebrity birth chart. And I want to know, who do you think this is? Based off of the characteristics that I'm going to share about their birth chart, I am going to share their sun, moon, and rising. I'm going to share their entire chart. Boom. So you can hopefully guess who it might be. I'm really excited. Last week we did Taylor Swift's chart, and what was really interesting about her chart is that we didn't actually have the specific time. So because of that, we couldn't get really detailed. However, we were still able to tell a lot. And from that, you guys were able to guess. So that just goes to show you that even with a birth chart that doesn't have the time, it doesn't mean that you can't tell a lot about a person. Let me go ahead and put this comment here. All right, so I pinned the comment because last week a few of you guys were like, okay, well then if I want to get my own birth chart read, how do I do that? Well, you can go to my Stan store and the link is now pinned there so you can book your own reading where I do exactly the same thing that I'm about to do today. I could do that to you to help you understand yourself, understand your challenges, your strengths, your weaknesses, how to overcome things, how you best cope with things, how you manifest, all of that, in addition to helping you understand more about what's to come and understanding what's happened in the past. So let's get into today's chart. I'm super excited. So I had to thumb it down because obviously I don't want you guys to know who this person is. But based off of what we see in the chart, the first thing that we're going to say here is she is an Aries rising. We can see that Aries energy was rising on the eastern horizon at the time of her birth. She is also a Scorpio moon. So we see here, Scorpio moon. And then she is a Virgo sun. Interesting. Okay, so Aries rising, Scorpio moon, Virgo sun. From that, some of you guys are already going to be like, I know who this is. But just in case, I'm going to keep on going. All right, so the first thing that I noticed right off of the bat is you see this whole area right here where there is just, it is just stacked. It is stacked, honey. This girl has her moon, her Uranus, her Juno, and let's see. Oh no, not that. So her moon, her Uranus, and her Juno are all in Scorpio. Juno represents our relationships and our love life. And essentially what that tends to indicate is this is a person who that is very much, hi Renee, welcome. This is a person whose love life is very, very hidden. And this really, this makes a lot of sense now to see that her Juno is there because she is somebody who does not. And it's in the 7th house, the house of relationships, which means that she prioritizes her relationships, but she also keeps them hidden from other people. She doesn't want to tell everybody her business. She's not really somebody who wants to get, you're not going to know all the ins and outs of her love life because that is just something that she just does not want to have you know anything about. That's because of her Juno in Scorpio. Her moon is also in Scorpio. The moon represents our emotional self and what we need emotionally. So she keeps things close to the chest. My best friend's a Scorpio moon, so and my sister-in-law is a Scorpio moon that I think about too. And so I know this energy really well. They tend to keep things close to the chest. They don't like to let you know everything about them. However, because again, she has a stellium, meaning that she has more than 3 planets or asteroids in the 7th house, right? So we have this moon, Uranus, and Juno in the 7th house. The 7th house represents relationships. So she really is here to understand herself and understand her emotions through the people that she connects with, the relationships in her life, because she has so much concentrated energy in her relationships. This also means that this is something that is really important to her, is not telling everybody her business about her love life. It's important that she keeps it close to her, but yet it's also going to be something that she finds transformation through. So it might be that she shares a little bit about herself or shares with only a certain group of people, but she does share just a little bit, but not enough. Not enough where you feel like you know everything about her love life and her emotions and what she's truly deeply feeling, which really stands true to who this celebrity is, because this person is someone who does tend to keep things close to the chest. We do get insight into her life, but at the same time, in a lot of ways, there's constant questioning about what is she actually thinking? What does she feel? And yet she doesn't have to be in the public so much, which is very interesting because she's very, very famous, but at the same time, she's not in the public eye a lot. And I think that's because of that stellium and Scorpio. Scorpio represents where we're going to hide a little bit of ourselves, where we're going to hide that shadow. So let me know in the comments, what is your big three? And do you have Scorpio in your big three, meaning you're in your sun, moon, or rising? Okay, the other thing that I noticed here is even though this person is a Virgo sun, she is heavy Libra, because she has Pluto, which is interesting, Pluto in Libra, not Pluto in Scorpio. The millennial generation is Pluto in Scorpio. So the Gen X generation is Pluto in Libra. So she has Pluto in Libra, Mars in, no. Is it Mars? Yes, Mars in Libra, Mercury in Libra, Saturn in Libra, Jupiter in Libra. She has a ton of Libra. So even though this person is a Virgo sun, the reason why this is important to note is because when people tell me like, oh, I don't really align with my chart, and it doesn't, like, when I was growing up, I didn't really connect a lot with certain aspects of my chart. Like I didn't really connect to my Capricorn because I really lived in my Leo moon and my Sagittarius Mercury, which are both fire signs. This person has a ton of air signs in her chart. You see all of this? This is all Libra, boo. All Libra. So even though she is a earth sign sun, a Virgo sun, because she has a lot of Libra in her chart, she is someone who naturally loves beauty, who loves giving to other people, who loves to find balance in life and is constantly trying to create that for herself. Maybe she's trying to create work-life balance. Maybe she's trying to create her love life versus her family life. Oh, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, her love life versus her family life, because it's in her 6th house of habits, service, people that work for her. She also tends to try to find balance between giving back to others and taking care of herself, which is something that we've witnessed her struggle with in the public eye, is trying to protect her image while also giving to the people. We've also seen her try to maintain relationships with people that, oh my God, this is so good. I'm seeing so many things in her chart. Okay, because one of the things about me is that when I'm reading birth charts, I'm an intuitive astrologer. So essentially what I do is I look at the facts, I see what I see, but then my intuition kind of kicks in, and then I start to see other things. And one of the things that I'm noticing as well with her chart is I'm going to move from the Libra conversation, and I'm actually going to move over to the Chiron conversation. Chiron is a asteroid that represents the greatest healing and the greatest wound that we'll have in this lifetime. So when you go through the issues or face the challenges and face the discomfort of that particular sign, wherever Chiron is for you, then you are going to find that it is also the thing that you can become the greatest teacher at. But it's very painful to go through. And for her Chiron is actually in the sign of Taurus. But what's standing out to me is that it's in the 1st house of identity. So why that stands out to me is when Chiron is in your 1st house of identity and it's retrograding as well. Essentially what that means is that she might have a hard time with people not seeing her for who she really is. That her identity, like she might feel like when she puts herself forward or shares who she is, it's like people can't actually see the real her. So she might struggle sometimes with feeling like, how do I, and then when you add the fact that she also has that Scorpio in the 7th house, those Scorpio placements there, she might really struggle with feeling like, I have a hard time showing off who I really, really am to people. People feel like they know me. They feel very personal. They feel very connected to me. But I feel like they couldn't possibly know who I am because it's hard for people to see me. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So even after she like overcomes different obstacles and finally is, which I think we're seeing this now, for years we could connect to her, but it was almost like she was always behind something else, like always behind like a smoke screen. And now I feel like we're able to see more of her real identity. But because Chiron is in the 1st house, there's always going to be a little something that's hidden that we don't really see and that we'll have to learn about her, and that we're only going to know what she wants us to know. But even then, she struggles to show her true self, her true identity. It's almost like she's wearing a cloak of invisibility all the time. Even though she's sharing who she is, people closest to her might sometimes feel like, I don't really know her. So that's something that I find that's really interesting. Something else that I find that's interesting is that her Mars and her North Node are conjunct, meaning they're right next to each other, and they are in the 4th house. And they're both in Leo. So what that indicates, let's see here. So they're in the 4th house and they're both in Leo. What that indicates is that Mars is the planet that shows us where we're going to feel the most motivated, like what motivates us. Because her Mars is in the 4th house, that means that she's very, very motivated by the divine feminine. She's very motivated by family and family matters. She's very motivated by home. And these are things that are very important to her. And it's part of her brand actually now. And so that's even funnier that it's like, of course it would be part of her brand, because part of what makes her feel safe and at home is talking about where she's from, is always connecting things back to how she's gotten here, whether she's talking about her family or whether she's talking about her genealogy or whether she's talking about even possibly the city and the state that she's from. She's always going to keep referencing the past and looking back in those things. And part of that is her destiny. Part of her destiny, because the North Node, so Mars represents what motivates us. The North Node represents where we're headed. It's our destiny in life. And so for that reason, she constantly is focused on where in order for her to go forward, she focuses on the past. She focuses on what did I learn in either a past life or from past relationships, and how can I bring that forward into today? What can I manifest and create today because of all the skills that I've learned from the past or learned from other people? So that's a very interesting placement, and it also makes a lot of sense for who she is and what she represents. The other thing I see is that her sun is in Virgo, and it's in the 5th house of creativity, which when you have a sun in the 5th house, that tends to be an indicator of, when you have a sun or a moon in the 5th house, of someone who expresses themselves a lot through their creativity. But what's interesting is that because her sun is in the 5th house and it's in Virgo, but we're going to go back to this Libra here. This Libra section is filled with Pluto, Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, and Saturn. She is a heavy Libra. So even though she is a Virgo sun, she doesn't come off as Virgo as someone who has like a lot of Virgo in their chart. She's actually going to express herself a lot through design, prettiness, gorgeousness. Now, because she is the Virgo, she's going to be meticulous and detail-oriented about design and beauty and pleasure. She's going to prioritize those things, but it's going to be something that she really makes an effort to express herself artistically because of the fact that she has all this Libra. Libra rules over beauty, pleasure, because it's ruled by Venus. So Venus is this planet of love, of like feeling good, of doing what feels feels sensual and all of that sort of stuff. So because of that, she is someone who has a lot of energy in that particular sign. So though she's a Virgo, she's somebody who has a lot of Libra energy. So those are some of the things that I see right off of the bat. Let's go ahead and reveal who this is. But before I get started, I want to remind you, let me know down in the comments, who do you think this is? This is an Aries rising, Scorpio moon, Virgo sun. Who do you think this is? And tell me in the comments. That's the first thing. The second thing is, tell me in the comments, do you have any of similar placements? Do you have an Aries moon, Aries rising or Scorpio moon or Virgo sun? Is your sun in the 5th house? Like, what placements do you have as well? Do you have a lot of placements here on this side of your chart versus that side? Which that's also interesting too, now that I think about it, because with her having so many planets on this side of the sky, that actually is an indicator that she is someone who is really living out a past life dream. So when you have a lot of planets on this side versus this side, she's actually living out, like, possibly from a past life or a karmic thing, that the reason why she's having the experiences that she's having now is because of a karmic debt that she had in a past life. So this is very interesting. And then her past life would be connected possibly to her career, which is where her South Node is. Oh, so that's very interesting. So maybe in her past life, she had a career, but it was something that she prioritized a lot. So in this life, she's meant to prioritize home and family, but then she's now figured out how to monetize it, because even though she is an Aries rising, Taurus is actually over her 1st house. Do you see that? This is the Placidus version, not the whole sign version. So she's an Aries rising at the 29th degree. That's the last degree before it moves into Taurus. So Taurus is actually what's ruling most of her 1st house, which Taurus rules over money. So that makes sense that she would find a way to monetize her passions, which is right here in the 4th house. That's where her Mars is, her passions of home and family and all of that. But she's here to live out dreams that she maybe once had in a past life, where maybe she didn't prioritize family and she didn't prioritize the divine feminine. And instead she was deeply in possibly the divine masculine or toxic masculinity. And in this lifetime, she's trying to kind of bring that karmic cycle to an end. And that's because she has so much on this side of the chart as opposed to so much on that side. So I'd love to know in the comments, what part of, do you have a lot on the left side or the right side, the top or the bottom? Tell me. Okay, you guys ready to see who the celebrity is? It is Beyonce Knowles Carter. Did you get it right? I'm so excited to see who got it right and how many of you really guessed this celebrity. I figured it would be obvious if I had said Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, because I think a lot of people know where her moon was and know where her sun is. She's famously known for being one of the most Virgoist Virgos. But yet, as we can see, like I said, even though she has one Virgo placement, she has a ton. You know what I realized though? It's also because her Libra is over the house of Virgo. That's a whole different thing. The point is that even though she has a lot of this, she has a ton of Libra energy. So though she's known for being this Virgo, she's really actually popular for actually, like, part of her love of design and part of her love of design, of beauty, of all these things comes down to the fact that she has all this Libra energy. Part of why she loves divine feminine and goddess energy, which we've seen her talk about, goddess Oshun, goddess Yamaya. She talks about the Yoruba traditions and things like that. Hi, Jessica. Welcome. The reason why she finds passion and connection with that is because, again, her Mars is in the house of divine feminine. She is motivated by the divine feminine. So when she connects to it, Beyonce is someone who is very much like, oh, that speaks to me. That speaks to something in my soul. And so that's why she's very, very motivated by, you think of even the song, like, girls, who run the world, girls, who run the world, girls, right? right? We know that song. She's very, very much connected to the divine feminine, to goddess Oshun, to goddess Yamaya. Her sister really connects to goddess Yamaya, Solange does. Also, when I was talking about the home, right, and her being motivated by home, does she not constantly talk about not only being from Houston, which is where she was born, but her family being from New Orleans, and then her history being of the Yoruba tribes, of the Nigerian people, which, hello, that's me. Hi. I'm actually incredibly mixed. I've done my ancestry and I'm incredibly mixed. I'm from all over Africa, like all over. But the majority of me, which is not a lot because a lot of it is mixed, is Nigerian, and I'm going to claim it. So, and anyway, so she talks a lot about her past, which is what I was saying, right? But that makes a lot of sense because her Mars and her North Node are both in the fourth house of home, of family, of connections to the past, of divine feminine. She's connected to that energy, and we can see that in her life. So anyways, I'm super excited about today's episode. I can't wait for next week's episode. If you would like to be considered to do a reading for next week, go ahead and DM me or leave me a comment down in the comments below. You'll find this replay here and on YouTube. Hi, Vanessa. Hey, girl. You'll find this here on Instagram replay as well as YouTube. And like I said, I'll be doing celebrity charts, but I'll also be doing real live birth chart readings here on the show too. I'll be live again next week at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you guys had a great time. Talk to you next week. Bye. Oh, and if you're interested for readings, go to my Stan store. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.